Hi, this is Emily of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Hey, it's Baxter Colburn here from Public House Media. Did you know that we just added a store here at Public House Media? No, I'm not talking about a grocery store where you can go buy apples or bananas or peanut butter, which are all fantastic, especially when peanut butter's on all of those. Anyway, we've added a store here at Public House Media so you can not only come and represent your favorite podcast network, but also represent your favorite shows as well, too. Just go over to thepHmedia.com and look in the top right corner where you'll see the button that says Store. Click on that and you can search through all of our great products. Or if you go to our Facebook page, Public House Media, you can see on the left-hand side a tab that says Store. All of our products are listed there as well too. It's the new Public House Media store. You don't want to miss it. It is fantastic. Buy some of that great swag to support your favorite shows and to support Public House Media. Check it out today.
This is Danny Domer, host of podcast, The Star Wars Story, here on Public House Media. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, podcast, The Star Wars Story, where we talk about Star Wars and everything there is to know about Star Wars. A new show comes out every other week, also known as bi-monthly for you calendar folk. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Podcast, The Star Wars Story. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Yo, and hello everyone. Jerry Strauss here, and welcome to Hollywood Happy Place. So glad that you could join us this time out. Big, buzzworthy interview. A young lady whom first came on my radar. I'm not a big music guy these days. And I'm certainly not a big hard rocker, nor was I back in the day. But one young lady who has come up kind of through that tradition, through that legacy, carrying it on all her own, is somebody who came onto my radar because one of the great pro wrestlers and authors of our day, Mick Foley, was tweeting about her left and right. Her name is Nita Strauss, and she is not only an amazing guitarist in her own right, but she is a part of the famous Strauss family that goes back to the roots, not the roots, but certainly some of the most significant eras of classical music. And she's taking that into the current day and beyond, but just in the rock genre, if you will. She's currently all around the world touring with Alice Cooper and his band. And if you know anything about Alice Cooper, you know that his musicians are always among the elite in the world. She's also worked with a plethora of an eclectic group of well-known artists, and she's readying her solo project as well. So we're going to be hearing a whole lot more about her. One thing that I thought was pretty amazing, I had reached out to her, and we'd been talking about setting up the interview, and we are going to do it on like a Thursday. For whatever reason, we couldn't match up schedules, didn't happen. And then that weekend, I'm sitting at home watching Wrestlemania, the biggest wrestling event of the year, 70,000 plus in, where were they? New Orleans this year, in the stadium down there. Just a gigantic Super Bowl-like event. And one of the entrances for one of the great international superstars that they have, a gentleman by the name of Shinsuke Nakamura, this great elaborate entrance for him to come to the ring to do his thing. And who was there playing him to the ring? Nita Strauss. So cool that she's being embraced not only in the music world, but in sports and entertainment, and she's certainly becoming a household name all her own. So great to grab some of her time and chat with her about her past, present, and future. It's all right here this week on Hollywood Happy Place. Hey guys, Hollywood Happy Place is powered by Zoom, the leader in modern enterprise video communications. They have got an easy, reliable cloud platform for video and audio communications, so I can schedule an interview that will automatically be recorded. Then, all my guest and I need to do is click the link and we are in. Best of all, I get a clear, downloadable recording of every conversation emailed right to me in seconds. It's that easy, so if you've been looking for your own simple podcasting or conferencing solution, I suggest that you get your free account today. Just visit zoom.us and check it out for yourself. So thank you for doing this. I know that you're super swamped, and, you know, it's crazy because I had connected with interest in bringing you on to feature you on the show a couple of weeks ago. And I, to be very honest, wasn't super familiar with you, but I first kind of came to hear about you because you've been tweeted about a lot by Mick Foley. I'm a wrestling guy. I follow Mick Foley on Twitter, and he's clearly a big supporter for some time, which is super cool. And then we weren't able to do it at the original day that was, I guess, proposed. And so we held off, and then I'm sitting there watching WrestleMania 34, and all of a sudden, in front of, 70,000 people, there you are, taking center stage. Was that what was that like for you? Because you've had a lot of big moments in your career, but that has to be kind of a different atmosphere.
It was, yeah, it definitely was. You know, I'm a big wrestling fan as well, and I've been involved in a lot of different wrestling stuff. I've played at an indie company show called PCW Ultra here in LA. Like, you know, I've played RVD's music, I've played Pentagon's music. Like, you know, I'm a huge wrestling fan, so to get to take it to the next level and work with WWE and play Shinsuke's music was absolutely incredible. And I'm actually going to be playing Mick's music next week at his event here in Pasadena.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, I mean, it was, it felt like something, you know, you certainly seem entrenched in the pro wrestling world. And so, yeah, that had to be a cool experience for you. How has it affected you since then? Because I feel like that one, you know, piece of business on a 5-hour pay-per-view show caught a whole lot of attention. I've seen the video of that entrance of Shinsuke Nakamura, you playing him down to the ring, a lot on social media in the days and weeks since then. Has that been kind of a game changer as far as attention to you?
I mean, I've been doing this professionally for 16 years, so it's absolutely amazing, and getting the WWE universe to hear about me and see what it is I do was amazing. You know, it was definitely a huge honor, and I had a blast doing it. And, you know, I think wrestling fans and rock fans are so similar. They're so passionate. It's such a crossover audience. Most wrestling fans love music. A lot of music fans love wrestling. So it's just really cool as a wrestling fan and as a musician to now be seen by a greater audience.
That's awesome. And, I mean, let's go back to the beginning a little bit with you, because, you know, many people may only know about chunks of your career. But you are actually a descendant, if you will. One of your ancestors on your dad's side was Johann Strauss II. So you've got sort of the essence of classical music as part of the legacy of your family. Is that something that influenced you and your immediate family as you were growing up? And did it have an effect on how you looked at music?
Yeah, definitely. I have come from a whole family of musicians, and of course, having a well-known last name, you know, in any field is a big responsibility. So, you know, you always want to try to to do your last name proud. You know, my boyfriend Josh always says your last name is all you have, and that's definitely something that means a lot to me. So I always wanted to kind of keep that lineage alive.
Have you experienced sort of an evolution as far as the kind of music that you enjoyed or focused on or wanted to create yourself? Was it more of a classical direction earlier on, or were you always more into the rock side of things?
Oh no, I'm a completely self-taught guitar player. I don't even read music. Classical music was never really on my radar. As you know, insofar as that, like, I guess if you take like Yngwie Malmsteen or like neoclassical guitar players is about as classically influenced as I get. I've been a rock and metal player my whole career, my whole life. I've fallen into different types of music, you know, as a hired guitar player. I've played all kinds of different stuff, but you know, I still, when I go to the gym, I still listen to the same stuff that I listened to when I first started playing guitar: Metallica, Megadeth, Steve Vai. You know, that's where my heart's always been.
Mm-hmm. Is it? Do you find that? I mean, was there any sort of resistance, or what kind of musical influences in sort of your present day family when you were younger did you experience? Was there a lot of support to go kind of in the rock direction?
Oh yeah, definitely. My parents were really, really supportive from the very beginning. You know, my dad's the one that got me my first guitar and showed me the movie Crossroads, which is what really changed my life into becoming, you know, a lead guitar player. So they were definitely supportive.
That's great. I'm going to tell you how little of a rocker I am. You said the movie Crossroads, and for a split second, I'm like, she watched the movie that Britney Spears starred in.
The Britney Spears movie? I've gotten that before, but not often from guys. No offense.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that probably was not a major influence on your career. I hope not.
I probably see it just so I know, because you know, I talk about the other Crossroads a lot, which is, so the other Crossroads, if you haven't seen it, it's about a young guitar player sort of finding his way in the world. He's played by Ralph Macchio, who's the Karate Kid, and you know, he's finding his way in the world and finding his style and becoming the guitar player that he wants to be. And at the end of the movie, there's this amazing scene where he does a guitar battle with a guitar player named Steve Vai, and that is my hero and the reason I started playing guitar.
Okay. That's definitely something to check out. I think most of us don't realize that Ralph Macchio did a whole lot besides Karate Kid, but that sounds kind of like
yeah.
Yeah. So you move on. You know, you're focused from an early age. You know what you want to do. What was kind of your first big breakout moment, would you say, where you kind of went from being just someone who had a guitar at home to someone who is advancing in their career?
You know, I started playing guitar at the age of 13, and I did my first national tour at the age of 15. And from that point forward, it's really sort of been like a steady climb. I don't know if I could really pick one defining moment of now I've made it. You know, I've had another job. All I've ever done is play guitar. So it's been an amazing journey the whole time.
Wow. What was it like to jump on a tour and to be out there in the world at the age of 15? Was it, I mean, were you comfortable right away in that lifestyle?
I mean, everything takes some getting used to. There's always some growing pains, you know, whatever it is, whenever you do a new thing. You know, being a 15-year-old girl on the Vans Warped Tour, which is a national tour, was, you know, a huge undertaking. But you definitely, you know, as long as you go in with a good attitude and willing to work hard and willing to be tired and, you know, willing to make long drives and go on stage sometimes early in the day, sometimes late at night. You know, it's a rotating stage on Warped Tour. So sometimes you go on stage 11:30 in the morning. Sometimes you go on stage at 9 o'clock at night. You know, you never really know what you're going to get. And it's going to be hot. It's going to be cold. And sometimes there's going to be thousands of people watching you. Sometimes there's going to be 10 people watching you. But as long as you go into it with the open mind and willingness to work hard, everything pays off.
Wow. What did you experience as far as your treatment by everyone else in that atmosphere? Here, you're a girl, you're 15 years old. Those are things that, you know, even more so back then, not very common in that atmosphere. Was it harder for you to get respect, or were you treated differently, or not so much?
No, definitely not. Because we walked in there and took respect. You earn the respect that you get. And I think if we had walked in there asking, if my band had walked in there and asked people to help us carry our equipment and, oh, I'm a girl, can we go on at a different time or this and that, I think we would have gotten treated a lot differently. But we went in there to work and to play music, and we were always treated like equals by all the bigger bands and everything. The only people that sort of treated us a little less equal, I guess, were the festival promoters, because we were on a small stage and we didn't get all the perks that the bands on the bigger stage got. But besides that, all the bands, all the crew, everyone treated us great.
Very cool. Is that something, we talk about through the years, through your career, you're basically a young veteran of the road at this point. Have you found that as you've gone from being a teen to being an adult, have things changed for you in that respect as far as, just as far as, I guess, how you've been treated and sort of appreciated by not just peers, but by fans who are seeing you for the first time? Do you think that, do you have to kind of fight against a groundswell of people who are going to assume that you are sort of kind of a girly novelty act, even though you clearly are not? But is that an assumption you kind of have to fight against sometimes?
I guess less now. I guess a little less now. When I was younger, I did have to fight it a lot more. But now it's not so much. I've been around a long time, and I've been doing this for a really long time. So it's, now it's not so much that people see me and they expect I'm not going to be any good. And there's so many great female players now that are here in the industry. So it's much less of a novelty now.
Cool. You've played with a lot of different people. Just looking at your bio, your resume, there's such an eclectic career you've had so far. Is that something you look back on with pride, sort of being able to, be, as part of the Iron Maidens, obviously a tribute band, and be successful in that, and then play alongside Jermaine Jackson and, all the different things you've done? Is it kind of cool to have a career that's so eclectic?
Yeah, definitely. I think variety is the spice of life. And if you can only play one type of music, you're definitely not going to work very much as a musician in this industry. You have to be able to be versatile, in any aspect of your craft, no matter what it is you do in life, whether you're a musician or an actor, or, imagine if you're an actor trying to get work in Hollywood and you say, I only do comedy.
Right.
You're not going to do very much. I only do dramatic roles. If you're limiting your scope of what you can work as and what you can do. So I think it's really important to be versatile and do a lot of different things.
What would have been some of the highlights? A lot of people know you now because of your work touring with Alice Cooper, which is just kind of an amazing combination to think about. But assuming he is one of the working with him is one of the highlights. What are some of the other kind of benchmark combos and team ups that you've been able to be a part of?
Well, working with Alice is definitely, the pinnacle of my career. This is one of the most amazing things I've done so far. And the thing that I love about it is Alice has had all great musicians in his band. There hasn't been anyone that came from Alice Cooper's band that you go, oh, that guy's okay. He seeks out the best of the best to play with him. So seeing my name on that list, if I look on Wikipedia, I look at the musicians that have been in Alice's touring band, so many of my heroes' names, and then see my own name there on that list. It's pretty amazing.
That's great. Looking to the future, the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, are there certain artists that you have kind of like a dream list beyond Alice that if you had the opportunity, it would be just super cool for you to get the chance to share a studio or share a stage with them?
Well, definitely Steve Vai, who I mentioned earlier. That's, he's the reason I started playing guitar, and that would be a dream to, get on stage and play with him sometime. But beyond that, I'm working on recording my first solo record right now, and that's a huge step for me, getting to really go branch out on my own and play my own music. So that's, it's a weird thing to say, but I guess, Nita Strauss is somebody I'm excited to collaborate with because I never really have done that.
Yeah, No, I mean, that's a whole new world for you, which is
Yeah.
phenomenal. What, how do you feel about that? I mean, that's a really interesting point in your career to look at because, between working with others and being part of cover bands, et cetera, this will be the first time you're stepping out with your own image, your own stuff. Is it something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, or were you living in a different sort of comfort zone for a lot of your career and enjoying playing other people's songs?
Well, to be fair, I have had my own bands a lot in the past. I have toured and written my own music and released music of my own.
Mm-hmm.
Not just playing other people's songs, but this is going to be my first thing that I put out with just my name on it, without collaborating with any other musicians,
Right.
without having a singer, without having anything like that. So it definitely is. It's a little intimidating to think about, but the fan response so far has been amazing. We did a Kickstarter to release this record, and we've got 8 days left on it, and we are now at 500 and something times our goal.
Wow.
So fan response has been absolutely incredible. Just from pre-ordering the record to the other cool perks on the Kickstarter campaign, like it's just seeing that people are interested and want to hear what I'm going to come up with was really, really amazing.
That's really great. And, things just continue to grow and roll for you. What about when you're looking into the future now, beyond, this album will be successful. Obviously, everything you're doing is continuing to grow and roll on. But what are some goals that you have in the future for your career? Some other things that you have yet to do, perhaps?
I'd like to play in Antarctica. It's the only continent I've never been to.
Wow.
I've played on 6 of the 7 continents, so Antarctica is the only one I'm missing. But besides that, I'm really, really excited to release this record. My record, Control Chaos, will be out this September. And to tour on that, doing a solo guitar tour. I've got some tours already lined up with some amazing guitar players. It'll just be a total instrumental shred fest, and I'm really, really excited about it.
Nice. And, we're going to be looking forward to that as well. And we're going to continue to follow you on social media. How and where do you want people to keep up with everything going on with you?
I am Hurricane Nita on Instagram and Twitter and Snapchat, which I never use, but I do have it. And I am Nita Strauss on Facebook, and my home on the web is www.nitastrauss.com.
Awesome. Great. Nita, thank you so much for joining us, man. It was great to catch up with you.
Thank you very much.
All right.